Is Barbara, the East Coast Dragon Lady, coming to you actually later than normal, and it's like almost 4:20 on Saturday. I'm going to say it's the calm before the storm. I'm here in the northeast of the United States, and we're in for a good old-fashioned snowstorm. I just had technical difficulties, which I solved by restarting my computer. It still amazes me that with our technology, I tried, unplugging it, thinking what's going on. I realized it was recording from the computer, not from this. So, and some of you have said that this is actually better quality in that you don't have to turn up the volume. There was a few other things. So I thought I would come on sort of, say, impromptu, really because I wanted to, and now I'm trying to remember, my phone's here, because I wanted to share some things as well. So if you've been following me, you'll know that I jumped on the other day after I did my last YouTube, because somebody was asking about what's a heart awakening. I was talking about how my heart has opened. And just as a coincidence, today I was actually going through Facebook, and my friend Casca Graham, a lot of you know Casca, she posted about heart opening, and let me find what she actually wrote, which was actually beautiful. I responded to that. So it was the art of gratitude. I will post it on my Facebook page. Gratitude isn't just something we do, it's something we become. It often begins as a daily ritual, a habit, a moment we intentionally set aside to name what we're thankful for. And that's beautiful. But over time, something deeper happens. Gratitude starts to weave itself into your life. It becomes part of your aligned way of living, not because you've scheduled it in, but because it starts to rise within you naturally in quiet, unexpected moments throughout the day. It might be as simple as reaching down and touching a doorknob, noticing the beauty in its shape, the door it opens, the moment it creates, and suddenly you realize this is gratitude, alive, present, and sacred. That's how precious gratitude surely is. When we live this way, our vibration gently rises. You can feel it, because gratitude expands the heart. And as the heart expands, everything around us feels that frequency. Our loved ones, our animals, our colleagues, even the spaces we move through. It becomes a ripple, a domino effect of presence, softness, and connection. Gratitude doesn't shout, it hums quietly through the day. And in doing so, it transforms the way we experience life. This felt important to share today. And I want to read you my response because it was in the moment. And I said, I love this. I practice gratitude morning and evening. It definitely becomes a natural thing to do. And the heart expansion is very noticeable. I can feel the softening as my heart opens with gratitude. Thank you for the reminder. And that, I think, is exactly what I was talking about when I posted about what I meant about heart opening. So I wanted to expand a little bit before I do some cards. I wanted to expand a little bit more on sort of understanding sort of natural practices or what comes naturally to you. And again, if you've been following me, I'm just hoping this light isn't like I'm too dark in it. As if you've been following me, I've been on this, I'm always on a path of something, the spirit release path, and working with my dragons around that and all of the things that are coming from that. But as I move through these things, I find sometimes my practice changes. And for a while, I used to ground myself like daily for years and years and years, which is how I got connected to dragons, because of my deep grounding. Um, there was a period of time when I didn't. And then when I went back to the practice, I realized how important it was to keep me grounded. But I was doing it once a day. Um, since I have taken some of Lara Starr's classes, I have been practicing it now twice a day. And just recently, say the last 2 weeks, I've added in, when I put my roots down and then my chakras grow roots and they go down. Everybody has a different way of grounding. I keep adding to it. Um, but Kat mentioned the other day that also we should grow roots from our crown, which I've always thought, and sometimes I would just sort of shoot a light up, but I've actually been practicing roots from my crown chakra going out into the ethers, out into the galaxies, connecting with all of my lineages, with all of my star people, and my soul's origin, just stretching out there. And then that frequency coming in, of course, has changed, because not only am I now grounded in Gaia, I'm also grounded into the galactic realms, which I'm connected to anyway. And especially since now getting to know my soul guides, who are galactics, this sort of felt really important. So I wanted to share that with you to, like, when you hear something, if it sort of sits with you, or you think, maybe I'll try that. Even for a lot of you, I know that, and so many people forget the grounding. It's probably the most important thing that we should do every day before we get out of bed. There are a few days that I might forget, but often when I wake up, stretch, I sit on the side of the bed, and immediately my feet start tingling, because it's a reminder that I need to ground. And I always feel that tingling because I need to put my roots down. It probably takes me less than 10 minutes just to bring in all the things, my gratitude, which is to thank. I've got gatekeepers, I've got galactic guides, I've got all of those, all of my dragons. I give them thanks, ask them if they have a message, align myself, and then I'm ready for the day. And then sometimes during the day, like today, I went and had an MRI on my back, so I had to go into a hospital. Now I'm much more, I feel like when I walk into those places, I'm much more aware of what is in my periphery, and I had, I'd put my shields up, I'd put on my suit of armor, my armor for the day, surrounded myself with rainbow obsidian, so I was shining outwards, sort of a black, so things couldn't come flying at me. When I was in the MRI machine, and I haven't had an MRI done for quite a few years, again, I realized, because of how my frequencies shift, how aware I was of those MRI waves. It was my lower back, and it really felt like my back was heating up with all of. I have to have it done. It's not something I need to know what's going on with my lower back, and it isn't what I really wanted to do, but that's the only way we can see it. I've had an x-ray, but we need to see in more detail about what's going on. So I really just wanted to share that, because if you don't have a morning practice or an evening practice, think about it like brushing your teeth. You can even do it if you're a morning person that showers in the morning, or you shower at night. You can use that time. You can see the water pouring over you as a way of purifying you. There's so many ways to be creative that doesn't take up time. And, we're always in a rush. I'm not going to say wake up early to do it, because that isn't for me either. I wait till the last minute to jump out of bed. But I am aware that I need to do it. It almost doesn't right if my feet hit the ground, and I haven't done that. Actually, my cat, I think, is enjoying this because often she's sleeping at the end of my bed, and when I come and sit on the edge of the bed, she often climbs on my lap. So she is one of my, from my soul family, she is my Lyran princess. Her name's Princess, but I've always said she's my Lyran princess. She very much is. And again, as my frequency is shifting, and also as I've needed healing, any of that stuff, she will come and lie right on sort of my lower abdomen. So that's, that's what they're there for. They pick up that stuff. If you're stressed, the cats pick it up. So for some reason, I felt very much like I needed, it feels like there's a gateway opening, and I'm going on my feelings. Astrologically, I'm always behind. I noticed that Monday is 1/26/26. So oftentimes when we have numbers like that, it's a portal. There are portals all over the place. This feels like, so I picked the Kyle Gray Gateway of Light Activation. If a lot of you have noticed, I'm sure, how quickly this month has gone by. It felt like it was the beginning of the month, and here we are, the last week of the month. So interesting how, for a lot of us, time is literally, that month's gone, that month's gone. So interesting. So let's see what I've got. Star Beings Healing Code. Important information. Wounds are healed, recharging. So yeah, it does feel very much like we need to recharge. This is an opportunity here, and like a majority of, I think, the southern eastern seaboard is being hit by this storm. I know down south it's more ice and cold. I woke up this morning to 1 degree Fahrenheit. All I can, as I said to somebody, it was bloody cold. The British have a good way of describing things sometimes, and that was bloody cold. I think that as the snow, I said to somebody earlier, I think as the snow gets closer to us, temperatures rise slightly. If it's too cold, then we don't get snow. But we're going to be given, I see it as a gift on Monday or Sunday, Monday, because most of us are not going to venture out tomorrow if you don't have to go to work. And I was one of those essential workers for many years. So if you don't have to go out, stay home and make the most of it. Whether you stay in bed, whether you binge watch, whether you do popcorn, do some cooking, whatever it is, this is a gift for us. This is nature's telling us, batten down the hatches, stay in and watch the snow. That's what I'm going to do. I don't know what part of that I think I'm planning doing some cooking, as long as we don't lose power. But I'm going to put that out there that we're not going to lose power. But you never know. And then Monday, definitely, well, here, our governor's already called a state of emergency. As you know, I'm a state employee, and we've already been told not to go into any offices. They get their money's worth out of me on Monday because it's my day to work from home. But whatever. So the other is the Stargate heart chakra opening, unlocking generosity. So here I am talking about the heart, and here's the Stargate heart. I love synchronicities. Let's just do one more. If you haven't noticed, I love synchronicities. One more. Earth Star activation, anchoring grounded action, Isis energy. So I didn't, literally, you've just seen me shuffle these cards. This is all what I've just said. So again, confirmation of this. I was just thinking as I picked up my dragon card. I think I've told you I have acquired some very young dragons. That there was last year a lot of the older elder dragons there was a change. They called it the changing of the guard. If you've been watching me, I talked about there was this changing of some dragons were returning back to base, or back to their origins, is what I'm hearing, which could be back to base, back to the planet, wherever they came from. So that I know they need to do some work. That's why they've appeared, these young dragons. They're dragons in training. Merlin calls them young bloods, so I'm calling them that. And he has been training them. And as I've been working on understanding lost soul rescue and bringing my guides in, my dragons are also in training. So I had the opportunity so I had a very, I'm going to say it's interesting experience now. At the time, it wasn't so pleasant, but a lot of us that are energy workers that have been here have what is known as a witch wound, which is, maybe more than one lifetime of being punished for being a healer, whatever. This was pretty intense for me. I was in a group where somebody literally used the word, I practice the craft, and I left. I really had what I class as a PTSD reaction to that. My heart rate went through the roof. I had trouble breathing. I mean, this was all in probably no more than 2 minutes, but it felt like eternity. And I had a vivid flashback. I don't want to trigger anybody else, but I heard the word executioner, and I actually saw what happened to me. And I was like, oh my goodness, this person was my executioner. Whoa. I came back from that really shocked. I have to say, I was speechless. And it wasn't a group that I could say, I have just had my witch wound triggered by you. It was not that type of group. So I shared in the SRT group. I asked, has anybody else had like an SRT, a witch wound flashback, something? And several people responded. And because I'd mentioned that I obviously grounded myself, cleared myself, brought in everybody around me. I think the lesson I've learned there is, if you're going to go to any group or any other group, you need to make sure that you're grounded. Make sure. I don't think I did that. I think it was of early evening, so I'd grounded myself in the morning. I needed to do a quick clearing. I don't think I did that. So again, lessons learned. But it was also a lesson for me in, do I stay or do I go? And I realized not necessarily because of that reaction, but what my body or what my guides did was they tested me. So it was an interesting test, not one that I actually welcome repeating, but I think sometimes we have to experience those things. My dragons literally flew in and protected me, surrounded me. And I mentioned this in my post. So somebody contacted me because she wanted some information about dragons. So they were more than happy to show up, more than happy to talk about what was happening for this person. And I was able to tap into the information she was giving me about some land, actually in Belgium. And it was an interesting exercise for me, and I'm hopefully going to help her when she wants to do a clearing of that area. I have a feeling there's a dragon trapped, or that was what I saw. There was a dragon trapped underneath the castle. And then they did some, they reconstructed part of it in the 20th century, and I think that's what trapped the dragon. That was what I picked up. So, what happens is, as we're doing the work, we start attracting the work that we need. We need to actually do. This is interesting. My computer's saying needs updating, and I've just restarted it. I hate those things. So anyway, that's what I wanted to share with you. So again, we're never without being tested. Sometimes we pass, sometimes we don't. So my dragons, I wanted to pull 3 of those. So we have the Atlantis dragon, Jason, talking about parallel lives. Atlantis dragon, Hercules. So Atlantis is here. Atlantis is in the house. That's what I'm hearing. And the sun dragon, the peacekeeper, that came up last week as well. Oh, the light's fading here. So how long have I? 20 minutes. So that's interesting. We've got the peacekeeper dragon who is bringing that peaceful energy into us. Jason, the Atlantis dragon, is helping us remember our parallel lives, and Hercules is bringing us strength for this week. So that's interesting. So let's just see what the goddess have to tell us. So those portals cards are interesting. I often forget how interesting these, and especially as I have elevated, I'm understanding more, especially about portals and stargates. I also had a really interesting conversation with Dina. You all know Dina Fortune. If you're following me, you probably know Dina. She's been drawing portals for quite some time now, and we're thinking of collaborating on a couple of things. Oh, so I've got Dana again. The High Priestess, you have divine knowledge that can help others through your spiritual teachings. So that's confirming me. Or Una, easy does it. There is no need to hurry or force things to happen. Everything is occurring in perfect timing. I said that to a few of you recently. I'm going to take a picture, as I always do with these, and let's see what the third one is. Oh, Irene. Don't think we've had her for a while. Peace. So again, all the things I've talked about. There is no need to worry. Everything is working out beautifully. And for any of you that have been following the Peace Walk that is now in North Carolina, talk about, bless them. Bless their little hearts. Isn't that a Southern saying? That's what I'm hearing. They're out there still walking until the ice storm comes or the snow. Their dog had surgery, and you could tell if you're really into this dog, which clearly I am. He's the most beautiful, peaceful dog that I've ever met. He missed being with those venerable monks, and you could see in his eyes. And they would take him out to get some fresh air, and he was looking like, where are they? So he is going to be appearing, I think, in some stops, but he is riding in their RV, which makes sense. So I've done this backwards to how I normally do it. These are the Dark Soul cards. So let's see what we have for this week. Defensive, unconscious, judgment. These sound very familiar to me. And facing our fears. So I think for a lot of people, this facing your fears is a big one. We're being shaken up, especially as we go into the year of the fire horse. Judgment, approach decisions with empathy, as snap judgments lead to misunderstanding. Yeah, I'm going to own that one this week. I did something like that. I decided to cancel a whole series of meetings. And then defensive. So we do tend to get defensive around our choices of things. So I think that's all from me for today. Maybe if I feel inspired, I will post about the storm and what's going on. So I hope you all have, you're all safe during whatever you get, ice storm, snowstorm, whatever. You know, be sensible. Now I feel like I feel like grandma, right? Saying be sensible. Just be careful. Take this time as rest and make the most of it. So thank you. I've had some more people join my Facebook group this week, so thank you very much. If this speaks to you, please share it freely. And any questions, connect with me. www.eastcoastdragonlady.com is my website, or you can get me at eastcoastdragonlady@gmail.com. Be safe, and I'll talk soon.